Okay, hey, tonight we are sharing our stories of joy. I just thought we needed some positivity in the world, and testimonies get all of us fired up when we hear that something God made has made a difference in someone's life. It just brings joy to us. So this evening it's just going to be casual and sharing a few stories. Some of us have some stories to read that other people have submitted to us, and I think it's going to be awesome. So starting us off, I think, is one of the newest customers on our Young Living team and family, Sharon Epler, and Lisa Benham enrolled Sharon. So Sharon, will you share the rest of your story with us?
Sure. I've been really tired, and it was just like, man, what is wrong? I was just like really dragging. So Lisa and Sherry, I grew up with, and my dad had gotten ill. So Lisa's mom, Mary Lou, that's how I've always known her, came and got me, and I was finishing out my sophomore year. And Lisa, I finally found her on Facebook, and she got to telling me, her and Sherry got to telling me about the Nisha Red. So I ordered it. And the first morning, I took about 2 ounces, and my energy level just, I guess my body was really lacking some nutrients. And it was like, wow, this stuff is awesome. And my husband feeling the same way. So I got it was a bundle deal. So I got the bottle and the packets. So he started taking packets to work with him. And the guys at work were thinking he was drinking salad dressing. And then these ladies in it's called Fort Gibson here. The one had just recovered from COVID, and they were both talking about how tired they were. So I took 3 packets to each one of them, and I got to tell them how awesome the product is. I haven't been able to call back because I suffer really bad with migraines. I was in the Army, and it's due to carrying that rucksack, and I just found out I have scoliosis. So I have been really down with some chronic pain here lately. And I'm looking in getting this BD oil to help with the chronic pain. But the Nisha Red, I get up in the morning, I have a little two shot glasses by the refrigerator, and that's the first thing I do is take 4 ounces of the Nisha Red. I mean, that's my routine of the morning. I just go over, get 4 ounces, and my husband takes it to work with him every night. He takes 2 packets with him. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to getting more of the essential oils and that. I took some of the essential oils. I took the nutmeg, the cinnamon bark, and I took some. I went and got some eucalyptus, and I put on my filter in my vacuum cleaner. So when I vacuum, I get that scent all through the house now. And then I keep these little dryer balls of wool balls instead of the dryer sheets. And I'm going to start putting lavender oil on the little wool. They do a lot. I have like 14 dogs. So I found out you stick those in there and they take all the pet hair off your clothes. And then I found out if you put essential oils on these little, I found their wool, they're made of 100% wool. And I just recently found out if you put essential oils on them, they give your clothes a nice fragrance instead of putting like the Downy and the fabric softener on your clothes. You put essential oils on them. And I found out you don't have static cleaner or nothing on your clothes. So I'm getting ready to try that on the dryer, on the wool balls in the dryer.
Well, Sharon, you're a pro
So,
already. I'd say that you've jumped right in with both feet. And I love, love, love your excitement and that you're already seeing some results with that Ninja Red. That's phenomenal.
oh, I mean, I started when I got to Oklahoma, I started really getting into, I was reading about the essential oils, but I was really confused by them because I got to read and you had to be careful with some of them if you didn't know what you were doing. And then when I talked to Lisa about them and that, I tried the cinnamon roll and I found I don't put it in a metal cup. It my Yeti cup still tastes like cinnamon. So
A
I
little
said,
goes a
"Now I
long
see why
way.
you don't put." Yeah, and I found out it's the cup still tastes like cinnamon, and I'm like, well, that's the reason you use glass with essentials.
There you go. Well, Lisa, you're in good hands with Lisa. So we're thrilled that you're here. And in fact, I'm going to turn it over to Lisa because I think you going to read from someone else that had submitted a testimony. Thank you, Sharon. That was super inspiring. Loved that. Okay, Lisa, unmute yourself.
Okay, so my friend Brenda Bai, she has MS, and I asked her if she would, I sent out a message to everybody, but she responded and said that she would try, but it was right at her bedtime, so I asked her if she would just write up a little something, and that's what she did. So she said, I use a lot of Young Living essential oils, but the ones I use the most is Panaway. I have multiple sclerosis, and my pain is mostly in my legs, especially my knees, arms, hands, and neck. I will experience this pain at any given time. No rhyme or reason why. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night with these pains, and my go-to pain reliever is Panaway. I have it on my nightstand, and I'll can't talk. And I will roll it on the area that's causing the pain, and it relieves my pain, and I can fall back to sleep. I love my Young Living essential oil Panaway. It works so well for what I need it for.
That's incredible. I love it. We say it all the time. This is life-changing for a lot of people when you find the right product to help you. Super cool. I'm going to read a testimony from Kelly Oakley. She is a friend of mine, a little bit younger than me, a mom. And she said, I have two favorite things from Young Living. The first is a combination of oils when my kids get congested and can't breathe well at night. I sometimes use thieves or a mixture of peppermint, frankincense, and myrrh. I mix it with coconut oil and put it on their feet, chest, and back. It seems to help open up their sinuses and allows them to sleep through the night. My other favorite is the Ninja Red, she says. I can't quite put my finger on how or why it makes me feel better, but I know that it does. I have a little more energy and pep in my step after I drink a serving. I thought that was really sweet and also well said. Can't really put my finger on what it's doing or why, but I know I can't go without it. So that was fun. Jeannie, did you have one to read for us? You got to unmute yourself.
All righty. This is from my friend Angie, who reactivated as a customer with Thieves household cleaner and hand sanitizer because she loves Thieves. So here's what she said. I do love Thieves, and she's talking about the household cleaner, but she likes all things Thieves. What I love about it is that it's safe not only for my granite countertops, but I can clean my windows, stainless steel fridge, and stove. Basically, it's one cleaner for everything without all the chemicals. And she has puppies, and so chemicals are important to her. Thanks, and I hope this is helpful. So this was what she had to say about the Thieves household cleaner, and she's right on point. You can clean everything with it, and you don't have to worry about the chemicals.
I love it. So cool. This is also showing me the wide variety of Young Living products that we have, from nutritional support to oils to household cleaners. Pretty amazing. And I love, love, love hearing these testimonies. So thank Angie for sharing that. I'm actually going to be at her house tomorrow night, which is why we can't do this class tomorrow night. And I'm doing a brain breakthrough class for her and several of her friends. So that'll be fun. Lynette, do you have something to share with us?
A lot of times we're asked what our favorite products are or what we've seen the biggest difference. And I'm always thinking of Ningxia and the different oils too, and everything that's even already been said. But one of the things I thought of from, goodness, probably 4 or 5 years ago, 4 years ago at least, was one of the first things I switched out was the deodorant. And I had heard all about the aluminum and how bad that was. And if haven't heard about that, do some research on that. But the aluminum that's in our deodorants and other things is really, really toxic for us. And I knew ours did not have that. So I thought, I liked what I was using from the store and I really didn't want to give it up, but I thought I would try it. And I really like the Cinefresh. We've got 2 formulations. This is the Citrigard. I like both of those, but one of the big things that I noticed probably within a week or so of having gotten rid of the others and switching to ours without, and it's not so much what's in this as what it doesn't have in it, a lot of brain fog, or at least some of the brain fog was lifted. And that was a significant thing that I noticed. And I thought, wow, there really is something to this aluminum business. And I do not want to go back to a store-bought at all. And I really do like ours. And just seems like a silly little tip, but I read this, a couple months ago maybe, and I don't know if I got it from Sandy Boudreau or even from Tara Smith. I don't remember where I saw it, but they suggested taking our mouthwash, put a little on a cotton ball, apply that first before your deodorant. And I thought it was kind of weird, but I thought I'd try it. And honestly, I like it. And I do that every day. It helps give extra. So,
Wow.
and again, there's no credit in this. So anyway, my silly tip, but it works.
I love it. That's a new one that I have not heard. Super cool. And I'm blown away, Lynette, that you said the brain fog decreased a week after not putting aluminum in your body.
That was one of the most significant things I noticed. Yeah, I was surprised.
Wow. And
It really
aluminum
made a difference.
definitely has a connection to our brain health. Wow. Thanks for sharing. I love that. Suzanne and Danny.
All right, I'm going to read the testimony from one of my customers, Bonnie Comer. When I asked her if she would be able to give me a testimony, this is what she said. The first, and she has in parentheses, and my favorite product is Anything Thieves. I use the cleaner and I diffuse it all the time. I also carry a hand sanitizer and have the soap. It just makes me feel clean, quotation marks, without the chemicals that sometimes aggravate allergies. Also, thanks for your help. So she's a happy customer. And Danny has a testimony. We have a live testimony.
Yeah. Well, she told me I couldn't talk all night, so that's going to be hard. We've been doing this for a while, as you all know, and it's hard to pick, but I settled on Panaway and peppermint. And I have had for many years issues with pain, my neck, my low back in particular, muscle issues, joint issues, etc. And I used the Panaway mostly early on. And because it works, I don't have to use as much anymore. And I've mentioned this before, Shannon, you might recall that I really believe that there's been healing taking place rather than just pain relief, but also healing. My need and trips to the chiropractor are probably a fourth of what they were 3 to 4 years ago, about when we got rolling well with the products. So occasionally I will use it. We use some CBD, muscle rub, and some other things, but the Panaway early on was pretty much kind of took the edge off of everything and helped. And peppermint, it helps with my neck when I'm having some neck pain or the beginnings of a headache. And it tends to relieve that. And then also it does help with indigestion or reflux issues, which is not a real problem, but when you have it, it's not fun. So that is a primary two that come to mind. And sometimes I will use some Digize in combination with the peppermint. If it's worse, that really takes care of it. So
How do you use the peppermint?
the peppermint, I just put it on usually on my neck, on my throat area, sometimes on my stomach, but the Digize in particular, I'll put it down low. So I just kind of cover from the whole track. And but it's not a big issue for me, but it does happen periodically, and that takes care of it.
I love it. Thank you both for sharing. It's always good to hear from Danny and any of the guys that want to hop on. We ate at someone's house recently, and I realized after the fact there was gluten in one of the dishes. It was a hidden gravy that I didn't notice, and I'm very sensitive to it. And my mouth started to get inflamed. My tongue started to get real inflamed. And then it's a cascading effect for several days that is just miserable. So I got up and I had my capsules with me, and I probably put 7 or 8 drops each of Digize and peppermint in this big old capsule, swallowed it down, and I had 0 more gluten symptoms that normally would have happened. So I carry those with me, Danny. Those are awesome ones to have. And then I just want to share a quick story that has happened recently, and then we'll open it up if anyone has any other quick stories before we call it a night. But mine's called The Tale of Two Colds. So last week, I was starting to get just a little scratchy throat, and we haven't had a symptom of anything since we had COVID back in January. Been really, really healthy, but I've been taking the longevity oil every day that we started for the boho Botox, and I know that it's helping my immune system plus everything else. So I started to get a little tickle. I was like, no, this is not happening here. So I hit it hard, and I did Inner Defense multiple times a day, MuPro at night, dropped Thieves Vitality straight on the back of my throat, would open up my mouth and get the Thieves down in there, the Thieves cough drops, the oils, extra vitamin C, vitamin D, maybe sulfurzyme. But anyway, I hit it hard for several days and it went away. It lingered for a couple of days and then just went away. Well, a couple of days later, my 13-year-old son told me he had a sore throat. Like, oh, I had that too. Here's what I did, and it worked. He goes, well, no, Inner Defense, I burp it up and then I taste it afterwards. I don't like that. And the Thieves is too hot on the back of my throat. And I don't like taking those supplements. And, trying to get a 13-year-old to be compliant with the wellness regimen is not very, I gave up and I said, well, it worked for me. You do what you need to do. So he did a little bit here and there, an MuPro here or there, a little bit of Ningxia Red here or there. Guess what? Guess who has a terrible cold right now? Is my 13-year-old. And he's snotting and coughing and thought he was listening. He is miserable right now. And we had a conversation at supper and he said, is this an I told you so conversation? I said, I just want you to know I was right. And we had the exact same little virus, little germs, and mine turned out totally different than you. So sometimes you have to go through a little bit of discomfort in order to get to the better outcome. Yeah, Suzanne.
Shannon, my sisters used to tell my boys when they'd be at the farm, if you don't listen, you get to feel.
Mm-hmm.
So pay attention to what I'm telling you, or the circumstances may be worse than what you think.
I'm going to use that. Thank you
Yes.
for that very good word of wisdom right there.
Yes.
So the products do work. You got to hit it hard and heavy and early. But a lot of times we can see a big difference, and it played out really interestingly here. Very cool. Anybody have a final story of joy before we call it a night? Yeah, Jeannie, you'll just need to unmute yourself.
Well, there. Quickie. I've been losing my hair for several years, and I was using a special hair product that my aunt recommended. And it worked okay, I guess, but then it wasn't working, and thought was still my hair on top's thinning a lot. And so I started using the protocol that Sandy had put on Facebook several years ago, the rosemary, the lavender, and the cedar wood. And when I take a shower, I use the Young Living shampoo and conditioner now. I got away from the chemical stuff. I use the Young Living shampoo and conditioner, and I put a couple of drops of cedar wood straight on. I keep a bottle of cedar wood in the shower. I put that in on my conditioner and rub it in, and then put that straight up here where mainly it is, and then spread it all over my head, because the rest of my head needs some cedar wood too. And then when I get out of the shower, I spritz it with the spray of the cedar wood, the lavender, the rosemary, and the carrier oil. And my beautician says that my hair is not as thin as it was.
Awesome. That's a really great report, Jeannie. Thank you. Goes to show they work, and consistency over time gets you results.
That plus sulfurzyme. I do take sulfurzyme every morning, and I take 2 capsules of sulfurzyme before I go to bed at night. And the sulfurzyme, along with the other stuff, really helps.
I love it. Very cool. Well, you guys have encouraged and inspired me. Again, I know we could all talk for hours with all the results that we've seen so far, but this has been a really good variety of stories and results. So I've loved hearing from you all. Thank you to everyone who submitted stories for us to read. That was encouraging. Okay, everybody. Good night. We'll see you soon.